Mary remained.
Dear Lady of Fatima, we come on bended knee.
On this feast of the Blessed Virgin Mary, on the Visitation of the Blessed Virgin Mary, would always remind us of the very meaning of visitation, in which we are being brought to its uh, significance of visit, in which we know that the visit of Mary to her cousin Elizabeth was an encounter of grace and joy. When we say joy, it's not just simply being happy, but joyful is recognition of God's presence in us and within us. When we have a joyful disposition, despite of the challenges of life, we can still manage to be joyful amidst even crises, because we always recognize that God is always with us. We have always carry in our heart God. That's why there is always reason to be joyful and to be hopeful in life. It was an encounter of grace because you see the visit of Mary to her cousin Elizabeth after the annunciation of the angel Gabriel to her, in which every word that has been spoken by God through the angel, by the messenger, or by the angel, has been fulfilled. That is why the very last part of the gospel today is the Magnificat, when Mary said, "My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord. My spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for His look with favor His lowly servant." In which we see in here that Mary spoke the greatness of God, and Mary recognized that God has never failed to keep His promise, and God will always continuously do wonderful things for us. That is why let us always be rejoicing. Let us always be hopeful and joyful. The visit of Mary to her cousin Elizabeth will always recognize and reminding us that let us always be having the disposition that of Mary. Let us always have the faith that of Mary. Let us always have the simplicity of Mary. Let us always have the humility of Mary. And let us always have the purity of intention and the goodness of heart that of Mary. By the example of the Blessed Virgin Mary, we know, my dear brothers and sisters, that God will always give us the opportunity to see His goodness in everything. And God will always make us feel His gracious abundance of His blessing when we are faithful in doing His will. And this has been made and set an example through the Blessed Virgin Mary. We continue to celebrate this Holy Mass as we always continue to seek that may we always have the grace and joy of God in us, especially in the visitation of Mary.